going on, everybody? This is Jack with the Trading Tribe. Excited to bring another video today on trading and hopefully a really cool tip and trick that can help, especially if you use the Thinkorswim broker when actually executing your trades. And it's going to be how to place fantasy orders, or what I like to call fantasy orders. There's a couple different names for them in the industry, but it's really when you know a given price point that you want to either long or short a different opportunity, you can actually do that in advance of the price actually getting to that area. So this is a really cool way to automate your trading and to really have a lot of that streamlined behind the scenes. And I have another video on the channel on kind of how to automate your trading and how these bracket orders actually work. But I wanted to show, like in theory, how to actually do it with kind of a trade example as well. So if we take a look at my screen here, we have our standard kind of breakout trade that we like to trade in the futures market, where we came up to this level and failed a couple times. And then we actually made a breakout out of this level now as well. And what a fantasy order allows you to do is it allows you to basically have an order waiting at a given level if you want to get in there. And if we come down, let's just pretend we want to get in if it drops to 3.348, right? What we can actually do in Thinkorswim is we can open up this active trader tab. We can come down to that area. So on the ladder, we can come down to that actual tick value, and then we can essentially just drop a buy order that is essentially sitting on that chart at that level. And I'll actually remove this for now because this is a live market. But that's how you'd essentially set a fantasy order. And this is obviously on the buy side. So we have the same flexibility if we want to short into a given pop, for example. Natural gas has been falling like crazy lately. So I've been shorting a lot in the markets. And whenever there's a trade that I know I want to get in a certain area on the chart, what I'll usually do is resort to these fantasy orders, because not only are you really determining that price point, but you're essentially locking in the fill, right? Because in certain trades, right, it doesn't make sense to do that because you don't know necessarily where it's going to come to, like maybe an uptrend, right, where it's making higher highs and higher lows. You don't necessarily know, right, exactly where that next low is going to be. So sometimes with something like a trend, it makes sense to really feel out a given pullback and get in manually with just a market order. Or even a limit order just in the moment. But a lot of trades do make sense for a fantasy order, especially breakouts, because typically you have that key area that you're risking off of, and the key area that ideally you get into the trade at, either on the long or short side, depending on what type of breakout it is. So hopefully this really helps. This is something that can really help, change the game for your trading, as it really allows you to control that entry. And that's half of the equation when trading. And we're never going to be perfect with our entries, right? You can always get better with a given entry, but as long as that entry is controlled in the area you want on the chart, that makes your trade even better, because you're getting in really where you want to get in on the trade. One other thing that's pretty cool about Thinkorswim is we can have bracket orders set up. So not only can we have a fantasy order for our actual entry, but we can have our fantasy allowed for our exits as well. And my other video kind of goes through all of those nuances as well. So thanks everybody. Appreciate the time today, and hopefully this helps in your trading.